Hey guys, welcome back to Play On Footy. My name is Bailey. Today we're going to be looking at the first day of trades and what really went down. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, smash the like button for the algorithm. Really helps me out in the channel. So let's get into it. The deals that have pretty much been done yesterday was the Jack Darling trade. Now the 298 gamer from West Coast, I think he finished with like 23 goals in 22 games. Yeah, I think he's a good addition to North. I don't think he's going to really add much value anymore for the Eagles as it stands. We've already got way too many forwards. I did make a video on my Eagles channel, Play On West Coast Eagles, WCE, about Darling and my thoughts on that. If you want to go and check it out, go and check out my my new profile there on YouTube. But yeah, I think it was time. I think it's good for both clubs. North Melbourne definitely needs someone to help out Nikolaki. We got, I think, pick 67 for the Eagles for him. And yeah, I just think it was time to move on. You know, sometimes you got to make a move, and finally the Eagles have done that. He's 32 years old. He was left out of the Eagles side at the end of the season, so the writing was on the wall anyway at that point. And yeah, he says here he's looking forward to helping out Nick Larkey, Zane Dersma and Cam Zerha. So, and he feels like he's got 40 or 50 goals left in him for a season, which I find that interesting. But hey, sky's the limit for Jack. His body's certainly never really let him down. So, hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. The next one was Alex Neil-Bullen. So, yeah, he came third in the best and fairest this year for Melbourne Demons. So, I mean, Melbourne Demons are going to be pretty gutted to lose him. You know, to have a person of his stature go to the Adelaide Crows, and it really does just echo, I think I've said this before on this channel, that, you know, Adelaide have been one of the most active clubs this draft period. This trade period, I should say. So, yeah, I think, you know, they've got Peatling coming as well. So, yeah, and then Alex Neil-Bullen, I think Adelaide have really picked some good players. Not obviously true A grade, but some B+ grades, you know what I mean? So, I think, yeah, going forward, they're going to be pretty happy with that pick for sure, Adelaide. So, yeah, no, very good job there, Adelaide. Caleb Daniel's another one. Now, Caleb Daniel has been linked to North Melbourne as well. So North Melbourne are after like Luke Parker, Caleb Daniel, and now they've also got Jack Darling. But I think Caleb Daniel is one of those players that could really come in and help, like, or even replace someone like a Zach Fisher or a Darcy Tucker for North Melbourne. I think he's actually not too bad of a player, and I think Western Bulldogs wouldn't mind, because he's sort of in that upper age bracket as well now, where, you know, if they can get something from now, they've already tabled a 3-year deal to Riley Garcia, the Western Australian who was looking to go to Port or to the Eagles. So I think now that the Bulldogs have done that, I think Caleb Daniel will be more than likely going to North Melbourne. For how long, I don't know, and on what money, but yeah, I think because he's one of the pieces of the puzzle, or a couple, yeah, that really need to be looked at. Him and Jack Macrae, which I'll get onto now. So Jack Macrae, the last 3 seasons for the Dogs, has been left in and out of the side. He's averaged 26.8 disposals, and he's sort of coming into that Saints lineup. So the Saints are looking at him, and they've let go of Seb Ross, who was a year older than Jack Macrae, but his numbers weren't that much less. I mean, Seb Ross was averaging about 23.6 disposals a game. However, there is another option, the 26-year-old Matt Kennedy. So he could literally be half the money that, you know, Jack Macrae wants. He's a year younger, and he can play the half forward role pretty well. So he's another option for me. Like, if Carlton are still looking to trade Matt Kennedy, which Matt Kennedy, let's be honest, wants more game time, I think Saints should just be going, hey, come to us, Matt Kennedy, and, you know, he'd be a great pickup for the Saints, I think, helping Jack Steele and all that, and Membry. I don't think Membry's going to be going anyway. So, yeah, that's something to leave you guys with, and see what you guys think. Comment down below, like and subscribe. What do you guys reckon about that one? But we'll move on now. Jack Graham is pretty much, his paperwork's been lodged this morning. I'm filming this on the the 8th today. So yeah, 8th of October, and he's basically the conversation for Jack Graham for Tigers. You're looking at a pick 25, band 2 or band 3 comp. So again, these compensations for free agents are just ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. Neil-Bullen, who I forgot to mention, he's getting like pick 27 for Melbourne. So yeah, rightly or wrongly, I just think that's a bit too much and overs really. But hey, each their own. I think that's it's just a flawed system. I made a video yesterday on the compo, the flawed compensation, and Andrew Mackey from Geelong, he's a Geelong list manager and past player, was just absolutely filthy about it, and I can understand why. It's an absolute joke. Joe Richards, so he's requested a trade to Port Adelaide, basically. So, well, it's a funny one because he's a Victorian. He's been he's been basically acquired by one of the biggest Victorian clubs, Collingwood Football Club. He's played 6 games and kicked 9 goals. He does look good. Don't get me wrong, but why didn't he just wait a little bit longer? Jamie Elliott is going to retire soon, and that would open the door for way more game time. I'm just perplexed by Joe Richards' line of thinking. Yeah, I understand he's chasing the bag. He probably gets paid more at Port Adelaide. But there's no guarantee Port Adelaide's going to give him a lot of forward line time with Willie Rioli, Mitch Georgiades, Ollie Lord, who's going to be replacing Charlie Dixon. You know, all these guys. I don't know if Joe Richards is really making the right decision. But hey, if he's being offered more money, he's probably going to say, well, what? Yeah, of course I'm making the right decision. I'm getting paid more. So hey, look, each their own. He's nominated Port Adelaide, so we'll see how that happens. Now, the main sort of common factor here, or determining factor, would be Gold Coast pick 13. So, and that's coming in with the John Noble and Dan Houston sort of trade sort of thing. So between Collingwood, Port and Gold Coast, that pick 13 is probably going to be quite essential to getting this deal done over the line. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, what do you guys reckon? Comment down below, like, subscribe about that, because yeah, it's going to be interesting how that plays out, because you know Houston has been linked now to Collingwood over Carlton. So yeah, it's interesting, and obviously North Melbourne have been interested in Houston as well. So that one's going to be probably the most perplexing and intricate trades probably of this year. So that will be definitely one to watch. And as I mentioned earlier, Bulldogs, Riley Garcia has been tabled a 3-year deal for Western Bulldogs. The Western Australians basically locked in there now. He came second in the VFL's best and fairest. So I think Bulldogs just see that, you know, if they get rid of Caleb Daniel, if they get rid of Jack McRae, Liberatore is not getting much younger now. I think they've got to really just make sure he stays, and they have. So, but yeah, other than that, guys, I'm just double checking now. Yeah, paperwork's been approved for Jack Graham, so that's just been, I'm looking live now on AFL.com. Richmond will receive a round 2nd selection, currently 42 in the 2024 Telstra draft as compensation. Yep, so I think that's okay news for Richmond. That really does expose Richmond though, because they've got a very young midfield now, and for Jack Graham and Liam Baker to be leaving, it's going to be tough couple of years for Richmond. Really feel for those guys. And then Gold Coast Suns have just also put in, we were the 3rd least experienced side this year, so we're chasing some mature players. In particular, we'll be looking to bolster our rebounding defence. So that's interesting by list manager and trade strategist Craig Cameron for the Gold Coast Suns. That's what they're going to be trying to target this year for their for their club. So be interesting to see what is going to be unfolding. But we're still waiting for trades to be done on the following players, and I'll just quickly run through this. So Bailey Smith to Geelong, Clayton Oliver to Geelong. Now the list boss for Melbourne has come out and basically quashed that, but hey, I think there might be a chance. And the reason I say that is because, you know, you got to think of it one way. If you've got someone working for you who doesn't want to be there anymore, do you think he will give you 100%? No, of course not. So I think they might be pushed into doing this deal with Geelong. I think Geelong have snagged them. I think they've been caught, and I think they've literally got to go, hey, we've got to do something here. Jack Martin's gone to Geelong. We're still waiting on that. James Peatling to Adelaide hasn't been finalised, but it's pretty much looking set to be there. John Noble to Gold Coast. Again, need to work through what I've been talking about with Gold Coast pick 13 with for Noble and Houston, as well as Joe Richards for Port. So that's a bit of a link one there. Daniel Rioli again to Suns, still got to work through that. Shai Bolton to Freo, still got to work through that. Liam Baker to Eagles, still got to work through that. And Tom Barras to Hawks, still got to work through that. Luke Parker to North Melbourne, and Jack McRae to Saints. So we're still waiting on those sort of trades to come through. But anything else that will come through, I'll definitely let you guys know. Comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll definitely be watching to see what happens. But so far, so good. We're into our second day now, so I'll see you in the flip side, guys. Stay tuned.